What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Chris Abaca.
What's going on, everybody?
And Daniel Acevedo.
Guys.
What's going on? So thank you for tuning in. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays Ask a CISSP, Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, all that cool stuff. If you're tuning in to us on 99.1 FM, you get everything all in one big chunk, so you get a week's worth of episodes. Or if you're watching us on Channel 10 in the DC Fairfax area, then you're getting either a week's worth of episodes or you're getting one of our Ask a CISSP interviews. But with all that out of the way, Chris, I give it to you.
Excellent. Today we'll be discussing new Morphing Meerkat phishing kit mimics 114 brands using victims' DNS mail records.
As a tongue twister, you did a good job.
Right, right on. By Ravi Lakshmanan. Pardon me if I did mess up the name, on the Hacker News. But this article talks about cybersecurity researchers finding about a new phishing-as-a-service platform that uses DNS, so domain name system, mail exchange records, to fake login pages that impersonate about 114 brands. So this is really, really good, because really terrible for us, because this means that these phishing campaigns, they're just getting better. They're getting better because they're utilizing our, history, right? They're utilizing that if those targeted campaigns that are just that much better, that much more realistic, utilizing the DNS records from and MX records from over HTTPS, right? So really
making it very, very personal.
Correct. So how it works is the actor, configures this phishing campaign, right? Sends it over. Of course, they spam it over. Like a phishing as a service, really what it does is it just targets every email that's on the dark web that they've got, right? So they'll send that over. The spam link directs, right, automatically and dynamically phishes through via the DNS MX records, right? And it takes you to like a real login page. Right? It takes you to the real website's login page. You log in, and it's a wrap, right? So then once you go visit that, those credentials are sent over via a Telegram channel to some type of collection server, right? So apparently this thing is so good, it's also capable of translating phishing content dynamically over a dozen different languages, including English, Korean, Spanish, Russian, German, Chinese, pretty much the gamut of languages. Holy crap, right? So it's just, all we're trying to say is that, guys, phishing is getting better and better and better. Really look into your emails. The big one for me, because we get phishing emails all the time. The big one for me is you look at who sent it, right? You'll notice, consecutive letters of the same, right? Or the email or the name is spelled wrong, or something fishy where they've got just multiple letters and it looks like a randomly generated email. That's what I do. Like, I'll look at that. Sometimes, for example, I pay for Microsoft 365, like the family version, right? So if you have an Outlook email, it does actually a pretty decent job of, you get increased phishing, protection. But sometimes Microsoft will miss that. Even Microsoft stuff will miss it, right? Even some of the best stuff out there will miss a phishing email. All we're saying is, be careful out there, guys. Daniel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny. This one actually will tie into our Thursday article as well.
Right.
So, stay tuned for Thursday's article. But, these, like you said, these phishing campaigns, I think they kind of evolved already. All of the advice, there's a lot of good training out there on like what to prepare for phishing and spam. Look at how the email is written, look at the domain of the email where it's originating from. But these guys are getting so good that even those things almost aren't showing up anymore. Like, you'll still see them, but these things are getting crafted so robustly that it's not just like the average person that's getting hit with these. Like, people that have good security backgrounds and understandings are falling victim to these things. This one particularly is very interesting. This toolkit and this PhaaS makes me laugh. When I read PhaaS the first time, you guys remember? Is it Rush Hour? Chris Tucker. He's like, "Oh, don't call my wife fat," and he's like, "Oh, dang, she's fat." PHAT,
like
pretty hot. And,
fat.
Yeah. So I saw PHAAS, and I just it just made me laugh.
That's funny.
But, all these like dark web services that are out there now, this is such an easy toolkit probably to use. And what it's latching onto are insecure redirects. So when, people will log into a website or websites redirect to like the servers or their services where they're hosted, those redirects from one service and one server to another, if they're not securely connected, this toolkit is listening onto that and stealing credentials from there as well, or latching onto those services to then generate the fake login pages. So that's how once they got all those domain names and all those email addresses, they're able to replicate a realistic looking logon and then use those insecure redirects. So once you log in into the fake login page, it redirects you to the actual site afterwards. So it's ingenious how they crafted this, way, way over my head. I'd be really interested to see how they coded this, where they scraped all these, insecure redirects and all this kind of stuff. But in its basis core, it's a simple thing, right? They got all the email addresses that are exposed, they put that together with something that's insecure, and then create a fake login page on the front based off what email address you have or what service you're going to. And then they package that together and that's it. And then they just blast it to everybody they have. And, just kind of like throwing dynamite in a river to catch fish. Eventually they're gonna get something. So I hate to say my hat's off to them because it's ingenious, and hopefully, the antiviruses and phishing, spamware filters, and all that stuff that, people have for their email accounts or what they paid for can patch the stuff and figure out the signature and protect us. But it's to say, if you get an email address, my advice, not to my family and friends, if you get an email address and something doesn't sound right, literally don't click the link, go to the actual website on a separate browser or call the service and just figure out if what in the email is true or not. Then click anywhere. I'm always even reluctant this day and age to even go on to a website. If I get an email from my banking and it doesn't sound right, I won't even log into the bank from that computer. I'll literally just call them or go on my phone or something like that because I'm worried that there's like a rootkit on my computer or there's somebody listening on the wire on my computer and they're just waiting for me to log in then and then just catch my credentials.
I love
I'm
that, man. It's
paranoid
that
at this
zero
age.
zero trust mentality. I don't
Yeah,
trust
for real.
nothing.
For real, like I don't know, they're these day and age, they're so sophisticated. Just be careful. Don't click on anything. If it doesn't sound right, just contact your bank or contact whatever to make sure that what it's saying is true. Pass it to Ryan.
No, absolutely. So I was going to lead with just be paranoid of everything that you receive. And I hate to say it like that because the people are like, "Oh, you're just being hyper vigilant." Yes, I'm the same way. Like if the bank sends me an email, I log in through like my phone because it's going to use my face or whatever. I log into, like you said, a different device. I never click on links. So I'm in the process of training, right? For my new job, and I don't click any of the training links. I just go straight to the training portal and I just go from there. Like I'm just overly paranoid specifically about email because I know for a fact my address has been compromised. I receive SMSs all the time on my phone. I've gone to Have You Been Pwned, right? And that was going to be, is that our
Here's the
Wednesday?
article.
Okay, yeah, there it is. So like I know for a fact I cannot trust my email, which is sad. But like Chris said, right? I have someone defending my email, but I don't trust that. Like you said, I never click on any of the links. I always go somewhere else. It takes you another 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but it can save you a lot of heartache, especially if they're able to compromise your bank account information or a compromise like we talked about the Disney guy who got fired because they're able to get onto his corporate Slack, right? It can cost you your job, unfortunately, depending upon the circumstances. Like how negligent were you, basically? If you're found to be the root cause, you can get canned because of it. So just be careful. And if you're on the training side, I recommend to tailor your phishing campaigns specifically to people. Right? Like if you have a new hire and you have the ability to sit there and go through their LinkedIn or whatever, like play around with it. Like send them an email, ask them about their new job, or in our case, I received one at work about the podcast. I was like, this is probably the IA department of work because how does somebody already get my email address at work, right? Just challenge people because I know they say that you can overdo it where people become exhausted in phishing campaigns. I don't tend to believe that. I think if you challenge them creatively, it could be a learning experience, right? Either they're like, you didn't get me this time. And then they're like, okay, now I know to be on the lookout because my unit security manager, whomever is crafting these emails, or my IA team is crafting these emails are pretty clever. Or you get them and they're like, oh man, I got to go redo training. I'll never do this again.
Mhm.
Oh, I just think it's a good idea to always keep that up, right? Whether you're doing it quarterly, monthly, or you do a tailored one when they initially join your team. So That's just my 2 cents. But I think you guys covered it wonderfully. It's a very technical episodes. Definitely get tuned in throughout the weeks, and Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays ask a CISSP, and then Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, all that cool stuff. Hit us up by the websites that go by our name, the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me pretty much on every platform, but LinkedIn is where I'm most active. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Avicon. Last name spelled A-Bacon.
And you, Daniel?
On LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.